What is up, everyone? We got a quick post from the Neville Sub today called Understanding Timelines in Manifesting. Here it is. Ever wonder why when you manifest something, it sort of feels like it would have happened anyways? I'm here today to explain this phenomenon and tell you why it actually runs deeper into something more fundamental to manifesting itself. This is going to be a bold statement and you're completely free to disagree, but I believe when manifesting something, you shift to an alternate timeline, an alternate reality in which your manifestation is a natural outcome. I really like where he's going with this because this is what is discussed in transurfing, which I've talked about a lot on this channel. And Frederick Dodson also talks about this in Parallel Realities, which is a book that he has. Both very, very insightful teachers. So here we go. So Neville Goddard goes into this a little bit when he talks about the bridge of incidents. We all know the idea that after you impress the subconscious mind, the bridge of incidents takes you to a place. A bridge of incidents takes place to take you from where you are now to where you have imagined in your imaginal act. After experimenting with this idea a lot in my manifesting journey, I have come to realize that the bridge of incidents is not isolated from the point of choosing to manifest your desire to the point that it manifests externally, but actually way beyond that. In fact, it would be nearly impossible for this to be the case because you still need to live out the entirety of your life after your imaginal act has manifested. I would go so far as to say the bridge of incidents actually extends not just into the future after your imaginal act has occurred, but into the past too, before you have even wanted to manifest your desire in the first place. Allow me to explain. Time, at the end of the day, is a man-made construct created to help make sense of the world around us. We experience time in terms of the past, present, and future, usually through a sequence of events. In reality, the past, present, and future all exist at once as an interconnected whole. When one gets altered, it all gets altered. And although this concept is hard to grasp for our human minds, this is what is discussed in quantum physics circles and at the highest levels of physics, this being the case. So when you do your imaginal act and enter into this state of consciousness if you have your desire in the present, because of what you experienced in the present, both the future and the past get altered to properly form the bridge of incidents. Think of it this way. Right now, you are in a state of consciousness in which you experience the consequences of past events in the present and the future. Thus, each state of consciousness has a timeline attached to it. When you shift states, in order to experience the bridge of incidents on an altered future where your manifestation takes place, you would have to experience the consequences of a different sequence of events, of a different past, made evident through the present. In other words, a timeline shift. You can actually test this yourself. Tonight, try to do your imaginal act into sleep so you impress your subconscious mind more easily. After waking up, what exists now in the present as a result of what happened in the past will have shifted. This is a consequence of the past itself shifting. This more tends to happen to aspects of the present you aren't aware of, as being aware of something in the present tends to keep it in place. The way to test this is simple. If after doing your imaginal act, you experience an event seemingly out of nowhere, where it doesn't really make sense considering what has happened in the past, chances are you are in the timeline in which your manifestation takes place. Do not go searching for these events because that only creates more searching. You will naturally come across them by going about your day as you normally would. This is also not an end-all be-all tactic, but something I feel works most of the time as long as you don't go looking for it. The reason as to why you tend to feel like your manifestation would have happened anyways after it's manifested is because you become increasingly aware of the past, present, and future of your selected state of consciousness to the point that your manifestation feels like it would have naturally happened as a result. In any case, I know this was a bit of a dense read, so I'll be happy to further explain this concept, at least in the way I perceive it, in the comments or DMs as well. I hope I was able to further your understanding of manifesting, even if by a little, and happy manifesting. Yes, one of the top quotes here says, reminds me of the book Reality Transurfing and the dimensional jumping subreddit. which is now archived apparently. Interesting, because I haven't heard of that. I definitely think they're onto essentially the same thing. Every possible universe exists, and we subtly shift back and forth throughout our lives into the ones that we expect and believe ourselves to already be in. This also reminds me a lot of the concept of synchronicities, which I believe was discussed first by Carl Jung. There's a book on synchronicities. I've experienced synchronicities in my life, and one of them is this mini success story that I just outlined here a couple videos ago on the channel, where at the gym, somebody came up to me, said that they asked me if my name is Alex, and then told me that they recognized me from my YouTube. That is one example of a synchronicity, because there are so many counter examples of my life where people that think that I want to do YouTube, or people that think that I want to grow on social media, they think that that's crazy. But me speaking that into existence has created, now I'm aware of a past where I've had that conversation with my partner, Devin, where I'm saying, hey, this is going to happen. And she agrees. And so I'm now latched onto that past experience rather than all the other past experiences that could have been counter to that. Because now I'm living in this reality. I've shifted into this timeline where that is happening for me. That is the reality, is that people are coming up to me, recognizing me. There's been other examples of this in my life where it's like, I'm looking for something, I'm thinking of something, it's on my conscious awareness, and that now has shifted. There's so many black cats, I mentioned this before, but Lucifer over here, which you guys can't see because this man's he's taking a nap, but I'm waking him up, I guess. He's a light sleeper anyways, he doesn't mind. I see black cats everywhere now. They're constantly, as I go through a walk around this apartment complex, everyone has a black cat, and black cats have become more and more desirable, it seems like, now that I've entered into this timeline where I'm hanging out with my mans right here. So, I could think of more examples, but I really think that, let's see, let me look this up real quick, because I really like also Frederick Dawson and what he has to say. And he has an entire book about this called Parallel Universes of Self. I would love to actually discuss the concepts from that book as well, because it's really approaching reality creation, is what he calls it. Neville and other people, there's all these words, law of assumption and manifesting and whatever, but it's really all about the same thing. And he comes at it from this angle, his entire angle and outlook towards creating yourself, the version of yourself and your reality, is coming from this type of angle about the parallel universes of self, is what he calls it. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Drop me a like, drop me a comment, hit the subscribe, and I will see you guys very, very soon.